Jesus, go ahead. Hustle culture is dead. Tonight, how can we break up with busy?
Coming up on Leading Out Loud.
I don't just talk stuff and repeat stuff. I'm living this stuff.
And you can thank me for covering your Astro.
Leading out loud. Leading out loud. We're leading out loud.
Welcome to Leading Out Loud, the spiritual shift show that's radiant and raw. I'm psychic astrologer Christopher Witecki, the sensei to SiriusJoy.com.
And I'm Scott Cruz, psychic medium with ScottCruzPM.com. Actually, Scott Cruz medium and mentor at ScottCruzPM.com. How you doing, Christopher? How's your week been?
Did it happen? Yeah, actually, it's kind of a good weekend.
Did it happen? Are we here?
I took a day off. I think, yeah. I had a day off. It was miraculous. It was great. I enjoyed it. Yes. I think I'll try that more often. Weekends off. A day off.
That's good. One day off. Great. But I had to take a couple of days off. You know, that's sinus infection was like dragging out. So I've been doing everything. I need to everything possible. So I wonder if it's like a purge. You have to read my sign, my chart. So at some point, Christopher, I have to book you.
Yeah, we should look and see what's purging. Well, everyone's purging one way or another. That's for sure. And we'll talk about it in the astrological part of this. But we launch a new us. I think this week. So
yeah.
The old us had to go. And so everyone had a different way of doing it. And I had, relationships like snap and break out of nowhere. And just, I think because we're going against fate, it wasn't meant to be that way, so there's a lot of rude interruptions by the universe right now. If you're on the wrong path, because whatever this next thing is, which I'm calling actually the new world order, spelled with the K-N-E-W, new world order.
Okay.
We always knew. Yeah, seriously. Seriously, I have a webinar I have coming up that talks about this. But ultimately, I think that this next one is a biggie. Like this next chapter in the rest of our lives is a biggie. And when I say biggie, I mean you have to do it. Free will is like much less than it normally is, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, we've been repetitive, so people have been watching week to week. It's been kind of repetitive about it, and so, I know what I'm purging, and I know what I'm, getting prepared for, and just like cleaning the clutter, allowing the pull, the callings to come. You have a calling, and so we're like, yeah, it's too silent of a pull, and so, but that's the spiritual pull. It's always kind of light and gracious. It's never in your face, usually. So. Mm-hmm. But I've been finding a lot of great, responses to my kind of letting go and letting the kind of process, take me. So it's been exciting to see things, evolve, intellectually and spiritually, and just my perspective on things and just the feeling of things. I think that's the key. When you go through a change, when your feelings change, I think that's the most, I would say, satisfying, because like I feel differently. So the conditions are the same, but I feel differently, which means I know I'll approach things differently. That's kind of what I see happening.
Yeah, I think we are all feeling. The different we're feeling is that I believe that the symptoms of our karma are wearing off. And so,
yeah, they are.
And we've been in karma our whole lives. I mean, some people only know that,
Yeah.
And many people are still stuck in it. I mean, if you are, if you're angry at what's going on in the world, you're stuck in it. Like basically, and no offense, but you're stuck in it. Like there is freedom.
Right.
Just so you don't have to live that way or feel bad all the time. But so there are people who are stuck in it. And I think that for those who are stuck in it, this next event is going to be really tough on them. I think for light workers and people who do good, the business is going to boom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because healthcare is not doing it. Like religion's not doing it. All the old Tylenol is not doing it. We'll talk more about that. It's like all the damn things are just not doing it anymore. And so we need new remedies. And they're underneath our feet. You just have to dig a little deeper and forget everything you were told. Basically. It's all about.
Well, it's true. I think it's a more holistic way of going about things. And I always said this, and people tend to, when we talk about organics and holistic way, they think like I might assume you're anti-Western. Like a collaboration of Eastern and Western would be a wonderful thing. We got to have discernment. There's a lot of filth out there too in our pharmaceutical world. There's a lot of great things, but a lot of filth out there too. A lot of profitable money-making machines that are there just to serve that purpose alone, and people get addicted and hung up on that cycle of pharmaceuticals, and they lose a sense of their organic self. and become reliant on that. And so the body's designed to heal. And I say when you cut your arm, it heals. But same thing with the internal body. When we stop putting salt in our wounds in the internal body, it will heal too, provided we haven't gone so far into a physical manifestation that needs some sort of physical care. But I think balance is a perfect term. I think that's the term, right? Balance.
Well, yeah, and you'd be surprised what being out of balance means. It's like you can probably eat too much ketchup and die now. It's like so much stuff in there. It's so much. It's so blended with chemicals and everything. It's so not who we are. So we're going to address that at some point. I mean, I have a fantasy of what I want it to be like. I just don't know if it'll turn out that way. But it seems like the world's heating up. I had predicted a while ago that you were going to see some sort of event in the month of September. I said likely in Virgo, but possibly in Libra, because Libra's when things like out of balance. House. Wonderful. And
your mic went out for a second there.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, anyways, I had predicted some sort of event would happen, and indeed today, conservative influencer Charlie Kirk was shot and killed at a speaking event in Utah. So, what are your impressions on that? I haven't read anything about it. I know they got psychically right away about it. I know today is energetically with planets, but go ahead.
Yeah. Well, and you and I remember I was going to say that because you and I both said we saw a lot of deaths in September, because Virgo in September, and I saw a lot of that. We saw a lot of happening. There's been a lot of that already. Yeah. So, but this specific one, I just want to say, life exists outside the political party lines, and I think that again, this death is very indicative of where we stand with that divisive nature and divisive culture that we have. But there's a lot of things that I'm kind of course empathetic to the family. My heart goes out to the family, of course. The two kids, two young kids, and he was only 31 years old, but he's the one that said that, empathy is just a new age term, made up term, that's very dangerous, and he also stated things like saying that, it's okay. There should be some, gun debts too, so we could hold up our Second Amendment Constitution. So the irony of some of the quotes and what happened, and as he was shot, he was talking about mass school shootings and mass shooters. And so, and so this is not how we go about things. And I think, again, it's just showing more of the tension. And so, but I think it's a time now that, people say, oh, it's just an opinion. He's just expressing his opinion. It's like, yes, but it's getting to a point now, people's opinions are swaying and rallying up other groups of people that can cause more chaos and cause people to vote a certain way that can, turn our country upside down. I think that's where we're at right now. It's not just about opinion anymore. So, and we do have freedom of speech, but it depends on what you're using that for and what type of catalyst is going to rile up other crazy people. So I think now this is being overly politicized. They're going to overly politicize, play the whole left-right thing. Like I think Elon Musk is now saying, "Oh, it's democratic violence," and it's like we got to get out of that box of Democrat, conservative. We got to get out of that box and say we're humans, we're people. And what is right is right, what's wrong is wrong. So I think, again, this is just another catalyst. I think it's a distraction, too, at some point. Even though there's a poor guy that's lost his life and family that's lost a life here, I do feel like this is also something that's going to be utilized as a cover-up, too, to cover up other aspects going on.
Well, I feel, first of all, Charlie...
But really quick on that too. Just want to say, I know I'm taking long on this, but this will be my opinion, and we'll move on. But there's also a school shooting today.
Go ahead. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but there was also a school shooting today where 4 kids were injured too, and so let's kind of not talked about either. And a stabbing, a poor woman stabbed on a subway, by a schizophrenic. So there's just a lot going on with all this. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Your turn.
No. Well, okay. First of all, Charlie Kirk sometimes is a little obnoxious. I mean, he pushed buttons at times. So if there is a whack job out there, I could see him being the one who pushed it, because he would be a little obnoxious, a little over the top, sometimes a little rude, I found. But, that's not a reason to kill somebody. But secondly, honestly, this feels like an inside USA job. This feels like something to provoke the people into revolution. This is something to point out that Trump is a bad president. Not that I'm taking sides, but saying there's a force that definitely wants us to all fight with each other. It's been clear they want us to fight with each other. And this one seems like the problem what they underestimated is views on YouTube does not necessarily equate swaying America.
Right.
So the person they chose, I think, was, if it was CIA, you chose the wrong guy. I don't think there's gonna be a big, outcry for that in regard. So, of course, we know nothing about the shooter, all that kind of thing.
It looked like it was a sniper on a roof. It wasn't something like
It
casual.
looked professional, you know. As I'm saying, like a pro, not some
Yeah.
whack job on antidepressant somewhere who stopped taking them. It's like
What someone's saying here, to be careful about how I quote him, if someone's saying empathy is something New Age has created and it could be dangerous, I don't care what context that's in. We should be teaching more about how to be empathetic. And the whole movement has been demonizing empathy as of late. And yes, there needs to be boundaries with empathy, but like those things can cause a lot of the people to react. I'm not saying you can condone that, but we have to understand where people's heads are at right now since 2020, right? Since COVID.
yeah.
We just don't. People don't care anymore. So you're gonna rile up people who are gonna do something crazy like that.
I don't know. So far, I don't see a reason to be so upset right now. I know people are terrified with Trump, but so far I don't see anything bad that's happened yet. So I'm still holding on for that. Like the shooter up there. So like before we were locked in our houses with nowhere to go and 6 feet apart. Like that was like a reason to freak out. Yeah. Now the prices are horrible, but they went up before. So we've been used to that for a while. Overall, though, I do feel like we should keep an eye open. I do feel like y'all. It's not one side or the other in politics. It's one elite group of people in the world. That's what it is. Let's get our minds off of politics. Who buy both sides? Who pay out both sides? Like you own the winner and the loser both in the boxing match. You bribe them both, right? And then let people bet on it and make your money. So I feel like we're going to see a lot of this. I feel like we're going to have some sort of revelation that's going to reveal that there's another party out there that's neither Democrat or Republican that has
I've been saying that for freaking a decade about the two-party system coming down. There are people in this chat here commenting, defending. They're just trying to defend their political party because that's their belief. They found their identity through their political party. Don't say anything bad about the person I've been revering for so many decades. That's my identity. Be careful what you say. Like, let me tell you something. Your identity comes from your soul, not from these political pundits who are paid as pawns to start and create culture war, to get you in your position of, I'm fighting for my political sport. So ask yourself, you're defending people you don't know in a party that you don't even know what you truly affiliate with. Ask yourself why. Because we should be using that same energy and passion for humanity, not but some sort of political, charade and political sport. And it's getting exhausting. And to me, this is going to prove all of that. All that. They're already jumping to political stuff right now, but after let people grieve for a minute before it turns political. But I see people announcing critical thinking because of their political party. I don't care left, right, wherever you're at. I don't associate with either one. I get demonized on the show for being, I'm conservative, then I'm too liberal. Like, people don't know how to categorize me because I don't affiliate with either one, because it's called balance. And to me, that's the mental disease that's going on in our society right now, which is why we're in the fucking mess that we're in today, which creates the situation that we have today. That's the mental disorder. That's the mental chaos going on. So
when I was raised in school,
that's not going to last very long.
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And look, you just got polarized, boy. So speaking of polarization,
I'm sick of it. I'm sick of seeing people in spiritual communities pretend like they're empathetic and spiritual, but yet they're defending a political component or political pundit who is creating segregation on either side. And they want to disrupt and segregate against people, and people speaking the truth because they don't like, it's their belief that's breaking down their own belief that they have a crutch for. That's their identity now. It's like, it's ridiculous. That's harming society. It's harming human consciousness, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
Okay, yeah, we can tell. And ultimately, just to be clear, I think spirituality is with the third eye. It's like, if you're truly spiritual, you see both sides from a higher point of view. That's true spiritual, the third eye.
Exactly.
If you see only one point of view, you're not spiritual. You're not, it's all of God's children. So I think it's a person calls himself an intellectual and they tell me all about one side. I'm like, you're not an intellectual. You didn't present that
intellectual.
When I went to journalism school and stuff like that, we always reported both sides. Now they don't even do that on TV. I would get an F on an article that I wrote, if I didn't present both sides, objectively back in the old day when we were teaching real stuff. So we've lost our objectivity, unfortunately.
This is what I said. I have a right to be, I have a right to be gay, as if someone has a right to hate me for it too. Do your thing. Just leave me out of it. Do your thing. Let people be. Let people evolve. And people are so in fear of change and diversity because they feel like that's going to take over. It's like, there will always be the traditional things as things will evolve and expand too. Why can't we embrace all of that? And that's the issue I think people are scared of. That's what ignorance is. There's so much ignorance going on. So people think like, oh, the white culture is going to die. Oh, everyone's going to turn gay. It's like all this irrational bullshit because we're not allowing ourselves to grow. And that's the name of politics for me.
No, I know. In fairness, I think, Scott, you need to blame the right people. It's the fucking media that stirs a lot of these people up. A lot of people get their education from the media. And the media clearly is one side. The media is clearly agendicized. The media is clearly being paid for it. So it's like, you guys turn to shows like this, boycott those TV networks, quit listening to them, Find people you really admire and opinions you admire, and listen to those people. If you don't have an opinion of your own, you want to adopt one, then I'd say research better, because the one on TV, I've worked in the television industry, they're chosen for their looks. Okay, like that's about it. And to say what they write on the screen, that's what it is. And I think we're all going to get wise to it. You guys, we're getting suckered into these conversations. We're getting suckered into you getting upset just now, Scott. That was a sucker job. We're being distracted from like the real thing, which is like
passion.
Hey,
it's passion because it's getting redundant. It's just getting redundant.
We shouldn't be looking at each other. Why are we looking at each other? We should be looking at the leaders. Like, why are we looking at each other? Why are we even talking to each other about this? We should be looking at the leaders. We should all be looking at the leaders with our hands crossed, going, "What the fuck?" That's really the way that people have to be.
But people unfortunately are so lost in a haze. It's like they need a savior. They prop up these leaders, right?
Some degree, I think. Yeah, go ahead.
And a lot of them just need to be snapping out of a haze of like, we need to understand that we're creating these results in our society and our culture. And so when we understand that spiritually, then yeah, we could lead with cause and we find purpose and we start, at least tuning in. I mean, Eric just decided he's going to delete all his social media, and I've been doing the same. I even want to pull back from my own live show because I'm just tired of dealing with all that grind that we're talking about today. Because I feel like I'm losing myself. And it's like when you shut it down, you can find like your true purpose and your true productivity instead of just being in consumption mode. As I would say, finger fucking the screen all the time. And we all get lost doing that and comparing and contrast, and we lose the self. And so, yeah, I think this is linking to our perfect topic of, I think grinding culture, hustle culture is changing its stripes. Not so much going away, but I think it's changing to a different purpose.
Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. Let's look at another headline and keep it moving, because these are all good points. So I'm so sorry about Charlie Kirk, though. I did think he was a brilliant young man. I thought he was brilliant, honestly, brilliant. His mind was brilliant. He was a brilliant kid. Brilliant kid. I was hoping to meet him one day. Damn it. So Russia announces a vaccine for cancer, plus plans to distribute it free of charge to its people. Well, a lot of people say cancer is manufactured. A lot of people say, you don't see Aristotle talking about cancer. You don't see any of the great works of art in all through history talking about cancer. Shakespeare didn't write about it. Like, it doesn't seem to be existing in any time before the 1900s. So WTF with cancer? It's seriously. I mean, there was a tumor here and there, but for the most part, cancer didn't exist before 1900.
There's always been a cure for cancer. There's always been a cure for HIV. I just think now Russia's one of the first ones on it now. And I think this one primarily focused on colon cancer. But, I think, again, just like Americans want to be first to be on the moon and before Russia, now the same thing. It's like, but I'm curious to see how Americans be like, oh, but we have the cure. And so I'm curious to see how that's going to unfold. But yeah, I think that they're just trying to be on the first to say, oh, look, we cured cancer. Look at us. We're the good people now.
I feel like Putin feels gained up on by the world. Okay. That's how he feels. I'm not saying he's right or wrong. And I feel like what he's starting to do is out some of the secrets he used to claim to have to hold. Like, I think everyone who's at the top knew these secrets. And I think he's using these secrets now as a weapon. And so instead of bombing Ukraine, he's bombing the pharmaceuticals. He's bombing the people who've been screwing us over. He's outing them. That's what I feel he's doing. It's a great weapon. That's a great weapon. I mean, talk about Russian intrigue. It's like, if you know that these businesses have been screwing over the American people and you have evidence, well, shit, man, drop that bomb. Drop that bomb.
Yeah, and I think it's an mRNA vaccine. I think someone just asked that too. But
is it mRNA? Oh, then shit.
Yeah, it's mRNA. So I know. So that's what I'm saying. I'm curious to see how many deaths there might be in the beginning in its trial. So I mean, again, I don't trust a lot of things that's come out anymore. I use my discernment. My discernment's like, yep, no. And so I think we all need to use a lot of discernment now.
I'm with Susan. Eliminate sugar, because actually, in a lot of stuff, do you know we had better teeth in the 1800s we do now because of sugar? Sugar has been the biggest weapon. So we have more cavities now than we ever have, and so many dentists that we can't pay for. And the other thing too is, like, why has American health gotten worse in the last 50 years instead of better? If science is truly doing a good job, what is it? You got some answers to answer for now. I'll tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, the Starbucks, right? The Starbucks coffees that people get, like, that's so like a big thing now. Some guy was showing like the amount of sugar in like a little Starbucks latte is like equivalent to like a huge punch bowl of like donut holes. You have these huge punch bowl donut bowls equivalent to sugar that's in this little latte. So just think how many people think, oh, I'm just gonna get a latte, that's my drink, and how much how much sugar that's in that, and that's inflammation.
Yeah, we're like insects. I know. I can't eat that much sugar. I'll go without sugar completely at times. you can't help it. Sometimes you can't help it. It's like it's in stuff. It's in ketchup. It's like Jesus. But then I will have sugar again in my coffee, and I'm like, whoa, oh my God, it's so sweet. How many packets is that? Just one. I'm like, oh my God. One thing that happens is your body snaps back to relevance pretty quickly with that. And then the other thing here is RFK Jr., a Capricorn, investigates the use of Tylenol by pregnant women as a link to autism. Well, I don't know. There's a lot of autism is on the rise. There's no question. There's no question autism is on the rise. There's no question we're doing something different we didn't used to do, right? We agree with that? Like something's wrong. Something's wrong somewhere. I agree, definitely that. In the old days, as my mom, you didn't take even an aspirin when you're pregnant. You took nothing. And now somehow it's okay to take Tylenol. And when did that change? Because there wasn't a way even when my wife was pregnant, she did not take Tylenol or anything. She sweated it out because that's what she thought was good. My son is perfect kid as far as health is concerned. He's super. He doesn't even like candy. He thinks it's too much. So I don't know.
As someone who quit sugar for 8 years straight, I can tell you the benefits of not. When you do that, you don't need medications. You don't need those things.
Oh wow!
I quit sugar and grains. I went complete keto for 8 years religiously. Like I count my carbs 20 grams a day. Like I was so religious, and the mind clarity, the energy that you have, and so when you're healthy, you don't need for these things. Now, as far as the Tylenol is concerned, I always kind of feel like I was like saying, look that away. It's just like there always could be links to certain things that could, I would say, perpetuate autism or some sort of cognitive, declines in people. But I think it's like an array of things that create this. It could possibly be parts of vaccine, but I don't think it's the main reason. So
do you take Tylenol?
No, I think sometimes I get.
Why not?
Well, because ibuprofen, when I really need it, is there for me to really do when I need to. But I usually try not to rely on anything. I use oils and stuff if I need to. But I personally I don't rely on it, to be honest with you. I didn't rely on aspirin.
Tylenol is a drug that if you take too much, you will die. Like you can overdose. I think it's like 8 pills a day. Like if you had 8, I don't know. I don't even want to quote it, but it's like literally only 8 pills and you're dead. You could screw your liver up, right?
There's another comment. My mom says, Scott, your mom never took Tylenol or anything when I carried you.
Oh, is that your mom?
Yeah. Yeah, she never.
Yeah,
she raised
that's mom did. She's very pure. Yeah, we need your mom on here to talk about this, actually. We need your mom on the show.
Can we have her on to talk about this? Because she raised me so healthy and nutritionist and, and she is 68. My dad, she's 67, 68. My dad is 73. And as you know, Christopher, not one have been on one medication. They hike up and down the mountains. They're very young. And so they're, I think, a good example of this discussion.
They're hilarious. We should have them on. Let's make that one of our pre-tapes.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, that's for sure.
So we have me too. Okay. All right. Well, overall, those are our headlines. Very interesting. We'll leave it at that for that. It's a Virgo season, and Virgo is all about finding healthy and finding integrity. And the 6th house in astrology represents your health and your integrity. And in astrology, integrity is, if your heart loves it, then it's good for you. If your heart doesn't love it, it's not. Very simple. And so this idea of our executive producer here was that to reimagine some of our health and daily routines for the new era and how we can reclaim some of these routines for sacred self-time. So how can you get 2 for 1? So this is about not being too busy, and she's adding another task on top of this one. But how can this be like a 2 for 1, or make this to where it's let's say a high definition habit? So how can you turn daily showering and bathing into a high definition habit?
Gotcha. Okay. I always tell people, if you want to bring change, sometimes bring a little change throughout your day can bring big changes. So I'm saying I would say yoga was always to shower anyway. Some of us, I shower twice a day, but I always say to make it fun, I like to bring music in the shower. I like to remind myself of the fun. So I put on good songs, I sing in the shower. So those are good times. Or sometimes even just staying under the water and just being at peace and using the significance of the water cleansing and rejuvenating. So it can be very symbolic. So I think that's one area we can convert a traditional, what we have to do as a very good spiritual ritual or even psychological ritual to rejuvenate, to put more emphasis and more, I would say, emotion behind what we're doing and participating in, because that could change the remaining of our day and the remaining decisions of our day, if we just put a different emphasis into it.
Yeah, showering and bathing is one. That's one where I kind of have to concentrate. I mean, I like Peter, I'll start the water and I'll start walking around and it's like the water's running, and I don't get in. I'm like, I procrastinate. I do put the music on though, and I'm jamming the music in that time. But once I get in, I just want out. I don't know. I like it. It feels good to be clean. I love being clean, but I love getting out of the shower more than I love getting in. I'll say that. What about when you're vacuuming or cleaning the house? What's something you can do in that case?
I love vacuuming or sweeping or whatever. I vacuum the floors too. That's something too. Like, a lot of times I will put on not a hypnosis audio that I created, or some sort of a great speech or lecture. I put time to listen to things that are encouraging. So a lot of times I use that time to catch up on things, and in that sense, and to kind of replenish my mind, because what is cleaning? It's very healing too,
Mindless.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mindless. I'm the same way. I'll listen to Charlie Kirk, like things like that. I'll listen to podcasts and things that I don't have time to listen to otherwise, or just when I can be making mine, I should be not listening to theirs. So to couple it up on that stuff, I've been so busy lately though. I've been hiring for these kind of remedial things, so I have more time in my hands. So I haven't had that even time then. So I'm not sure how you make better time out of daily supplements, but daily supplements, taking your supplements. So for me, that's a little bit more of a prayer moment. I'll just go into that. Like, I will go ahead and do some intentions on the supplements. Because I think that they go along with it. And I actually had to tie the intentions to the supplements because I wasn't taking my supplements. I keep forgetting. Like, I just span out. I'm like, I got one of those Monday through Friday things. It'll be like Friday. I'm like, oh, I haven't taken this since Monday. What the fuck? Like, I literally, like, they're all there. Yeah. So I'm like, now with intentions there, like, I am a very spiritual person. I don't forget my intentions. And so that's what I couple them with. So it's kind of like, swallow.
Yeah. I do that with my morning, like my breakfast. I'm like, okay, what does my body need? And I also understand the environment, like if the air quality is not good, like, and I know I have allergies, like what can I take to like help defend it? So yeah, I always feel like I made it a necessity that the morning breakfast daily supplement ritual, I would say keep these all rituals, guys. It will help you to put more emphasis into it. And so, and it keeps me kind of more stable and more secured. And this way, if something's off, you become more in tune to your body, like more intuitive. Like, I need more of this, or I need more of that. So I think it also helps bring more discernment to like your body when you do create that type of ritual, when it comes to your food regimen,
Honestly,
supplements.
Yeah. If you can tack intentions onto like 5 of your daily things, your life's going to improve times 5. I mean, honestly, the more times you consciously pick it up and give it some energy and put it down, those pulses create reality much faster. So it's really good to do it. Sleep routine. I'm not sure what you do with your sleep routine. Is that maybe
Christopher, making sure you have one.
Right, there's that. I don't like going to bed. Like, the bad thing about me with sleep routine is like I have like a lot of energy until I lay down. I fall asleep. Like, I'm any person that slept with me, like, I went to say goodnight and you're already asleep. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm asleep immediately. But when I'm going to bed, I feel like I'm not going to sleep. I feel like I have all this energy, and so I kind of fuck around and keep doing stuff. And before I know, it's like 3 a.m. I'm like, shit, I'm gonna get to bed. So for me, it's hard to get to bed on time. But I don't know. Maybe a good ritual for me would be doing shots. I don't know.
Well, I think your good sleep routine more will fall into the line of like better time management.
Everyone says that, but I like to do it. Let's do a reality series or like a Life in the Day of, and it'll be fun. Walk around, I'll give your opinions on what I should have done each moment of the day. Daily meals. Now, meals are a time where I know in my family, daily meals, since you sit in front of the TV, and my family sits in front of the TV, they bring their meals to the TV, they watch TV. I'm going to point out nothing on TV compels me at all. I think it's a waste of time all the time. I just am not interested in television at all. And so for me, daily meals turns into learning stuff. Like, I'll have like videos open of things I want to learn, or like I'm searching shopping for something, or so I get like shopping time in there. I get like learning stuff in there. If there's like someone's like, yeah, check out this astrologer, I'll go check out someone else who does and their work while I'm eating at my desk.
Yeah, I mean, meals are important for me. Like, it's a ritual for me. Like, I cook. Like, today I made my own chicken cutlets. I make out of pork rind. That's my keto thing. You make it out of pork rinds, grind it up, season it, bread your chicken, put it in there, make like a chicken parmesan. It's like very organic, and so like it's a healing thing. And I used to watch Charlie Kirk all the time. I was so fascinated with his debates because that's one thing I liked about him though, is that and Steven Crowder started this too. I used to watch this a lot during my meals too. Like, such and such is prove me wrong. He'd go on college campuses, so he kind of started that trend. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I love people who at least created that. That's one thing I will say, because I maybe didn't say it before, in memory of Charlie. Like, I'm glad he was at least doing that and creating this discussion for differences of opinion to come together. That's important, so. But I used to do that during my daily meals. But even though it's like we have to be, I would say, a conscious eater. I think many people are not consciously eating. If they were being more of a conscious eater, understand what we need and the time we need to take to do so, I think then again we would find ourselves less hustling about eating, more like, okay, simplifying what we need, and having better help, because, I think people grind so much because they're not putting so much emphasis in these areas. They fall away and they need attention, and then people get sick and then ill, and then they have to hustle even more, they kind of fall behind. So, I mean, your meals are important. I feel like that's your fuel. And so whether you fuel it with intellect, like I do the same thing as you, Christopher, I like to fuel with intellect while I'm eating too and cooking, or at least just being a conscious eater is important to me with that,
Consciousness in what you choose, or
But being aware of what you're choosing, be aware of what you're eating and why you're eating, and being aware of how it's making you feel, because you might make a bad decision. Like, okay, ate that, I feel so, I don't like how it made me feel. The brain's like, I don't want that again. The brain probably wouldn't choose that the next time if we're just at least objective and conscious about it. We'll probably select something else, and that cancel out certain future cravings, because when we identify, oh, that hurt me, I didn't like how I felt, most times out of not, we'll make a different decision and choose differently.
Yeah, conscious is good. I just recently started eating my salads after the meal, which is the way you're supposed to eat it. Yeah, the way you're supposed to. Apparently, because it actually does work really well. I have to say, improvement in my poop, really.
That's the Italian way, Christopher. They always eat the salads after.
Now, they can't make cars, but they sure can poop. No, I'm kidding. I'm not Italian. Sorry, Italians. No, but seriously, that's the theory. You're supposed to eat after, and I have been. I'm actually impressed with the digestive. You should have, so just listening to those old wives' tales, so to speak. The last topic is daily hydration. This is one I need help with, because I don't know. I just water. I got a fresh glass here. I poured this morning. Still haven't had it. No one is with me in water. We just don't get along. Something's got to be. I don't know. I have to something to drink water. I don't know what it is. I've set alarm to keep ignoring them.
I think water is an important element that we need, right? So I think if we understand the conscious need for it, then we'll do it more. Like I've been just drinking more tea because of the sinuses. See, my squad goals. It's backwards though. My Golden Girls are on there.
Nice.
But just like if you think about when you go to the gym, you're going to want to drink water. I think that we have to also understand that with the stress we put our bodies under, we also need to stay hydrated for the amount of workout we do intellectually and emotionally too. So, but yes, I think if we put emphasis on all these things, they're simple, right? They're so cheeky simple. But if we actually find the value behind them, we might consider it more often than not, which is important.
Yeah, I understand the value. I mean, we'll see what that is. Well, I think it's time for a break. We've been here for 30 minutes now. We're going to take a little break. And we come back, we're going to talk about, this new way of living a lifestyle. But before that, here's some word from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Lisa Brazelton, the architect of the program and founder of Sage Prosperity Partners. I am excited for you to start your journey in having prosperity in a way you've never had it before. Join me this fall for a couple of different cohorts that are starting. I am the facilitator. For a limited time, Serious Joy members will receive a discount code below, and I look forward to seeing you this fall.
Are you looking for inspiration to grow your conscious business? Serious Joy's Board of Light is a sacred alliance of lightworkers, visionaries, and spiritual leaders dedicated to awakening conscious leadership. As a member, you'll receive professional support in the forms of bi-monthly Congress of Light meetings, exclusive community networking, and an array of guest speaker webinars each month to guide you on your personal dreams. First quarter guest highlights include consciousness architect Lisa M. Brazelton, Dharma coaching expert Sahara Rose, and Chiron specialist Karen Croney. Don't miss this profound lineup of wisdom. Join now for only $250 per year and be a part of the enlightened professional re-evolution. What are you waiting for?
It's the first time I've seen two of those commercials. They're good though. I'm happy with our people. They're doing a great job to everyone on the team. Great job. Yeah, well, light's good, man. We're talking about conscious capitalism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Keeping the Unite the Light theme buzz going through the year, and
Yeah.
good stuff. Good stuff.
There's a
So,
lot going on in astrology right now. You want to let us know what's going on with those planets and the
well,
zodiac weather?
we've had 2 events now. That lunar eclipse last weekend, did you feel it?
Did I? Yeah. I was down for the count. Yeah, of course I did.
Well, was I right? It was a karate chop right there in the center. To me, it's step 15, which is the step number of relationships, because it adds to a 6, which is Libra. So it adds to a 6, which is Libra. So it's a Libra step number, and so in other words, relationships to things were revealed. It was revealed where your relationship to anything was not proper or out of balance. And I had like 3 people that suddenly were distrustful in my eyes. Like I did not trust them anymore. So, that was interesting. And then, certainly, Tylenol, I now no longer trust. I'm just kidding. But, there are other things too, but ultimately it definitely showed to me where my life is out of balance still. It's like, it seems like when I try to balance something else gets out of balance. It's like whack-a-mole for me. Like I got this balance and this falls out of balance. And I got this balance. So learning that too. And I think that we still yet to see the mayhem of it. For instance, if this shooter was legitimate and not some hired contractor, from the government, then this person probably lost it from the eclipse. Like they lost their balance, they lost their mental sanity probably during that time. So it ultimately means that these are our ties to our Pisces karmic relationships. So from astrology, you can tell we up until now have been mostly friends and family who are mostly there for the problems. They're there to represent the problems, to instigate the problems, to help you heal from the problems. And so they were there just really to heal from the dark ages, right? Mind you, this is the first time Earth has begun to heal, since Atlantis, since it fell. So now that those are complete and those cycles are complete, Saturn now goes into Aries and things get kind of heated up again. And we begin a new chapter, which is, I believe, the reestablishment of the Atlantean karma. I think we're going to pick up Atlantis. That's what I feel. So this eclipse was it. So there's a lot going on. I guess I could say more with the planets. I mean, I'm not going to get into all the things, but at the end of the day, we have one more eclipse at 29 degrees, which is going to be a week from this Sunday. And that will be it started putting the end. So it's kind of like we had a new moon on the 1st, 0 degrees. We had a karate chop at 15, and then we have a final new moon on 29 degrees. And so basically, we built new ends and tails and cut out the center.
Right. Makes sense.
Eventually, like grow together that way. I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny because I was saying a lot to my clients about that too, relationships, like the revelation of relationships too, and bring the balance. And there was something revealed in my relationship that like really skyrocketed my relationship. And so, like wonderful things, like sometimes it's a little bit of a bumpy road. And I tell people when things get revealed, it could be somewhat devastating. I think on my last week on my live show, I said, don't hesitate. Don't jump to conclusions quickly. Try to work things through during this time because it will help create more stability and foundation for the future. So I do feel like a lot of what Virgo season this month primarily is about grounding and about what are your actual priorities. Now that sounds simple, but priority means like looking at what you actually are prioritizing right now. Sometimes we're prioritizing the news and realize that we need to take a step back from the news. Sometimes we're prioritizing people who are just taking from us, and we need to reevaluate those decisions as well. So grounding and prioritization is a key right now moving ahead. And I think that, like when you said, when it closes with at the end of the month, that I really feel like this ground that we set for ourselves kind of will then lock things in. We'll feel like a breath of fresh air, coming into the Libra season and so forth, and going into October. So I think right now, when we understand what it means to be grounded, that means we have to remove the things that prevent us to do so as well. So that will come as a random knock on your door. Sometimes it feels like the rugs be pulled beneath you when you're actually on your spiritual evolution. A lot of times, the spirit will pull that rug, and it'll feel like you're disoriented. And so understand that's the whole point, is to find your new sense of grounding. Because all the work we've done this year, as we've been talking about, Christopher, that this is a lot of recalibration we've been doing in 2025, and especially using our voices in Virgo season with the new Virgo energy of standing up for your voice and not letting it to be filtered and being more inspirational with your voice. That's part of the essence of grounding too this month as well. So I think a lot of us are finding that in their own ways. I
find that the opposite of Virgo is Pisces, and that's our relationship to spirit. Virgo, the embodiment of spirit. And so the Earth is in Pisces when the Sun is in Virgo. And so we're actually manifesting a new spiritual timeline when the Sun's in Virgo. It's like we get in our life in Virgo and we get just like overwhelmed with the hyper awareness of the mundane. Just like, you just like, you can't, I no offense, Virgos, I just don't know how I could ever be one. Or I'm just in Virgo, I'm hyper aware of the tile cracks. I'm just aware of everything. And it's like, God, really what makes you want to be a drug user, because you just want out. And it's too much. But and so in that time you want to escape, and that escape is spirit. So it's funny, kind of like reality becomes overwhelming, and you like start focusing on spirit. Like, what's the overall general here? And I do feel like I've had in my own spiritual mission some interesting things open up. In fact, I had a huge, profound epiphany really about what I'm really here to be, which I'm not really here to share yet. But it surprised me, but didn't. And it eluded me until now. So it's kind of interesting. So even I, who is a spiritual leader, said, there's something I didn't really recognize about my spiritual mission that I just now recognized. And it's a new chapter they put on my shoulders now, which will be fun. But so I think it's time to kind of tune in that way.
Yeah, I mean, I also think there was time in order to as we, when we come back from the next break, when we talk about hustle culture, I think that when we ground ourselves, we need to take a step back from just for a moment to redefine what that means for us. I feel like personally I was doing the hustle culture in the wrong way. And so I've been really trying to redefine that, now and looking at, but what do I want and how do I want to do it? Well, links with me, not because I have to do certain things. So we'll get into that after the topic. But for now, if you need any type of guidance, it's important to have guidance and insight during this time of grounding and finding your voice. And so my September bookings are open. Of course, I announce this every week. So just letting you know I'm available. I will not be doing a live show tomorrow. I'm taking a little bit of a step back from live shows, not every Thursday, but I will be back next Thursday. But until then, visit scottcruzpm.com to book a one-on-one session with me. I do life readings, intuitive builder sessions, mediumship sessions, connect with someone who's crossed over, health mediumship, past life regressions, all that great stuff. scottcruzpm.com for your one-on-one session. And get your September bookings in quickly, because I book month to month. And
Scott Cruz is popularly known for his life-changing one-on-one readings to also guide in your soul ascension journey. With life readings, get insight into your relationships, career, health, trauma healings, past life regressions, and more. Want to connect with a loved one who's transitioned? Scott's mediumship session can be the gateway to you and your loved ones in spirit, bridging the gap between the physical and the spiritual realm. If you want to enhance your own psychic ability, Scott's Intuition Builder session can help expand your psychic and mediumship abilities. So sign on to scottcruzpm.com to book your own personal session today.
I want to find that chorus.
Come on. Yeah, I'm working on new music. So once I get my voice back, I can start recording the new vocals. But yeah, I'm excited about that too.
Like the Palm Springs Gay Men's Choir, or what would you get to do that?
That was like 20 layers of me doing that step vocal.
Easy. I'm sorry.
You know what I have to do now, Christopher? Like when I release my new music, I was thinking about calling my next compilation Not AI. Because everything's AI.
That's a good album title.
This is all me, not AI. So I'm gonna have to put that.
Do it as a title. Like take the title now before it's taken.
Yeah,
great title, Not AI.
Yeah, I already have it labeled, so I'll just copyright it.
There you go. That's cool. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a great idea. Yeah, I know AI is cool. Speaking of AI, but its creativity is flat. It's interesting.
Totally flat.
Yeah, of course, and that's what makes me very comfortable about it. But it's a good analyzing tool. Everything I've talked about before, but the compelling thing about that is like, really, everyone has an equal playing field now when it comes to intelligence. Yeah. You don't have to go to school. Like the AI. If you're like just a dumb crossbred idiot, the AI will speak to your level and then translate to the other level. It's like everyone's on the same playing field with intelligence. Intelligence itself will not be your winning advantage anymore.
Yeah, well, wisdom will be, because intelligence doesn't equal wisdom. So, like, how do you process and maneuver, and how insightful you are is going to be what makes people really accelerate now. So, but yeah, I mean, I have to correct ChatGPT all the time. Like, no, that's not what it is. I'm always correcting it, and so, but I really find it to be good. For me, I use it for like encyclopedia. It's like a really great search engine. I find it tells me everything I need to know about statistics, and so. Definitely wonderful in that regard, but I think that's fueling the hustle culture, and I think that's contributing to people feeling like they could do more for less without doing much, so they feel like they can grind with using AI and in a very kind of toxic sort of way. So, where do you think it's come from, this kind of grinding hustle culture? And not that it's bad, but where do you think it really derived from, Christopher?
I think it derived from the fact the United States went in debt for the World War II, and that they sold our human beings labor and by basically getting a loan with the World Bank, and they collateralized the loan with income tax. And
I
so because
agree.
the collateral is still on with income tax, now people are forced to work and work more. Meanwhile, the value of the dollar keeps going down, so they have to work more. Meanwhile, women have to go back to the workforce, so we have to work more. And so we're told to work more until at some point they realize, oh, robots will take over. Let's scare everybody and do a whole COVID thing. Now after everyone got like 6 weeks off for COVID or whatever that happened, like we shut down stuff. Now the humans are like, fuck that. They got one taste of the freedom and they're like, fuck that. Like we broke the spell. The spell, like gotta work. And we found that like, turns out the whole world can be off.
Right.
Turns out the whole world can be off and nothing falls apart. Like so,
Yeah.
I think that's was COVID ended up being a shot in the foot, really, for that whole work harder thing. And so a lot of people. Now here's the other thing. There's a whole generation. These, Gen X, Y, Z. The Gen Zs, Jesus, like I've never seen them work. I've never seen them work. I'm like, you were clearly meant to be, like taken over by the robot overlords. Like, you don't even know how to reboot it. Like, I'm really like, I don't know how they're gonna survive. I have a hard time, dying. Like, I don't know if I leave them here with these wives, but I don't know. So that's weird.
But I think it's redefining. I think we're like because again, the system's there to support us, but we're the ones supporting the system, and we're supporting the system. But then without the system, we can't survive. So we're kind of like wrapped up in the system and being manipulated by the system, not so much being supported by it. We're supporting it. So, but I think what's happening now is that people, human consciousness is evolving to understand that there's got to be different variables when it comes to such, not just mundane. And that's why I think that's the positive sense of AI is that it'll help us with the mundane, so we could be more spirit focused and more creatively focused and do things more in the realm of empathy, as someone didn't like hearing that before, because we're going to have to be more empathetic. That's the one thing that AI is not going to have: intuition, empathy, right? Psychic ability, creativity. Those are the things that AI will not have. So in order for us to thrive, we need to understand how to really, express those levels of empathy and creativity and intuition. So I think that it's going to change when it comes to hustle culture. I think we won't call so much hustle culture as to be that we're fully engaged and participating now, and then seeing that what we're doing is actually making a difference in the world, collectively. That's how I think it's going to.
I don't disagree. I feel that honestly, the earth was created to learn yourself, self-realization. And so you look at the forefathers, like they were ambitious people. They filled up all that time with all sorts of stuff like Farmer's Almanac and they just kept creating. And even though they had no distraction devices. They were in the cabin in the middle of the woods, I think certain individuals are very interested in being industrious and doing things. And some individuals, if you took away TV and those other things, they would probably die. There's no interest. Otherwise, there's no interest in the world of anything. Now, I think we've been led by overlords to that direction. I think the whole point was to forget who we are, forget looking within, forget the idea that anything is within you. It's all outside and has a price. It's sort of like when it's spent. But now I think they're interested even in the price. I think whoever's the overlord now, they're assuming robots are going to take over, and so they're not even worried about us as labor. So I don't know. But I think that the future is learning yourself. In Atlantis, it was all about your talents. It was all about developing your talents, and you spent the day working on your talents. From my understand. And so, violin, whatever, musical instruments, geography, studies of things. You study life with yourself.
Exploration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
A lot of exploration. So, but I think that's where we're heading with AI. So of course there are going to be people that are going to fall victim and privy to it, and want AI to do everything for it and feed it, and so. But those people. Other people are going to evolve and do great things because of such. And so I think that we would be the generation of the 2%ers. You know what I'm saying? Those who are in the corporate space, and those will flip down, and then of course maybe the robots will take them out, and then we become the leaders of the new world, so to speak. The intuitives, the psychics, the creatives, the empaths, the creatives in that sense. We become the new leaders, and so I feel like that's where it's headed. So very similar to Atlantean times.
Atlantis began originally with a kind of slave of heaven. Like heaven made all the rules, and everyone lived. And there was they actually moved towards thinking for themselves over time. So it's kind of seen as a slave colony of heaven, because everything was decided by mystics would talk to heaven, and heaven would make the commandments, and there were commandments. So it then evolved into leadership, and then women got in charge, and they ruined everything. But it's true though; it was a woman that did it. Just so you know. So that's why it's men's turn, right? We're taking a turn now. But whatever. The point is, human nature is human nature. Period. Of your gender, it's just human nature. I think the hustle time, is already. I think we've lost our hustle time. I don't think any of us are really hustling anymore. Even I have 1,000 things. I'm not running to the next thing now. I'm walking. I've slowed down. Because when you slow down, I think keeping us hustling keeps us not paying attention to certain things.
Right.
And so when you stare out the window and there's no TV and nothing else, you notice something like, was that a squirrel? You notice things you never noticed before. And I think that's what the culture didn't want us to see, was to notice things. So it's going to shoot them in the foot, so to speak, by us not being preoccupied.
Well, yeah. I mean, I just also think it's part of us. Like now, we're hearing ourselves too. I mean, for the past, I would say 5 years of out of the 12 years doing readings professionally, like I find like so many people jumping the corporate ladder, leaving Google, leaving the big tech companies, leaving Meta because they want to just do something that they feel they want to be creative with and taking those risks. So I've been seeing a lot of people who found success jumping ships, like, well, I can find success in other ways and really going in different directions. And so I've been seeing that as a trend from people at higher levels to the lower levels. So I think that's great. To me, that's very inspiring because that means more people are intuitively inclined and more creatively inclined. That means that we have a brighter future ahead. It's just we're kind of in this paradigm and this phasing period of the old and that new, and so that could be very chaotic where we're at now, as things are resituating, rearranging in reality. I think that you and I will still be like hustling, but we'll be so, I think you and I are so passionate about what we do that we just want to get a lot done, and so I think we're allowing to find our balance, but we'll still be engaging and productive, and but we'll just be doing it because it matters and it's coming from the heart, truly, not because of expectation.
That's the thing, y'all. I don't consider my work. I don't. I mean, I don't. I love it. I think about it when I wake up. I start thinking about it. People criticize me. You start thinking about work as soon as you get out of bed. Yes, because I love it. I wish I could stay up later. I don't get a chance to do this stuff in heaven. This is fun. It's like playing Legos the rest of my life. So I think part of it is like aligning your life with what your heart wants. Now, a lot of people are jumping the corporate culture, but they're doing so prematurely. Like it's like, but you don't know how to market, and you don't know how to this, and you never get a job. So it's like a lot of these people who basically jumped into these high tech jobs, got overpaid because there's a fad that now now the AI is going to take over all the programming work, right? Like now they find themselves like only knowing how to program in a world that a computer can do it for itself. So good luck. Like starting a business is hard. Not wishing them ill well. I'm just saying that there's still some reality checks that happen there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, 100%, but I think that's just indicative of people who are not being in tune, like I was doing remote work before remote work was a thing. So I just felt I was kind of psychically and spiritually led that way. Right. And now it's like, oh yeah, I've been working across the world for a long time. But I think that the more we're in tune, we can follow those trends and it wouldn't be so disastrous and people would find the right timing of things. And, but, I think it's a lot of it's just cultural programming too and societal expectations. And I think a lot of that's shedding off and dying, which is great. But I think people also at the point too, this is the kind of problem too, people just also becoming lazy as well. There's a lot of the lazy energy that's going on, where people don't want to really they'd rather rely on AI to do all the work for them instead of doing it for themselves. They don't want to participate. And those are the people I think that will fall behind.
I'm amazed that people even try to have AI do their work for them. I've had a couple instances here in my job, like, did you put this through AI? Did you really? Tell. I mean, like, you'd even look at it to see if it looked good. Like, geez,
You know how someone copied and pasted something from AI when it has that like long slash between words, like they'll have a sentence and there's like a long slash. I see people copy and pasting from ChatGPT. I'm like, that's ChatGPT. When you see that long slash between words instead of like a comma or something, like you can start telling when people are just copying and pasting. It's like, well, then where's the original thought anymore?
Right. There's no original thought there, and that's the thing. And that's what the overlords want. Like to just follow it. Like was it? I can't remember the name of it now, but like that. I'll think of it in a second. But the one that Mac made a joke of, that one was it? I can't remember. I'll come in a minute. But this world where we all have one leader and we all listen to one voice, and they were basically under that control, that mind kind of control.
Oh, watch the movie Idiocracy. Have you seen that movie? This explains it perfectly. Idiocracy. Go if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's
I've seen Idiocracy. That was funny. That was a good movie. Yeah. That was funny. I was making fun of it. Well, actually, I'm more concerned about. Here's what I'm really concerned about. I'm not concerned about being too busy because I think, AI is already sped up my life. And when I do an AI search, I go, that's interesting, and then I rewrite it out of my own words, my own voice. My own personality. I'm not interested in word for word anything. I don't trust it to be interesting enough. So I think what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot of time on your hands, and actually a lot of time and a lot of boredom because you're not being stimulated. And so I think we're setting ourselves up for a big fall. I'm talking about drug use. I'm talking about going too far with like sex, too far with everything, because there's just nothing stimulating left now that all the work's being done.
Well, then
know,
you can't process, right? Because like I don't even rely on spell check anymore. I'm like, if it seems like if it says it's wrong, I'm like, okay, I retype it because like if I forget how to spell, like people can't like do cursive anymore. Like then what abilities do I have anymore? You know, too. Like I still need to be able to manage and know when I'm being fucked over by AI to know, you know. So I make sure like, you know, so AI has been great to like maybe correct a sentence or like if I'm in a rush and I compose a whole email, just correct any type of punctuation that I missed or whatever, you know, sometimes of that nature. But I think that people have to understand we have to like utilize it for it's helpful, but you know, then not allow us to, because we don't want to be in hustle culture, to also abandon, you know, our intellectual bandwidth and what we can actually do for ourselves either. There's got to be a balance with that.
Well, there has to be a balance. Otherwise, you guys are idiotically giving all your power away to some computer program. It's like, you know, I have a question. I say to my son all the time, like, you know, do you have anything inside you that second guesses or double checks AI? Like, would you know if AI was bullshitting you? No, he wouldn't.
Right. Did you see that South Park episode? It was like a segment where the husband was like asking ChatGPT about like any idea he had to like abandon his business, start a new business. And it was just like saying, great idea. Let's create a game plan for that. And it like led him to like destruction, you know, because it would just tell you everything's good idea. Yeah, that's a great idea. And so, and then there was an article about some kid who committed suicide and said that ChatGPT tell him how to write up the letter. And, you know, and I don't know how true that is, but you know.
No, that's real. I got a friend who has ChatGPT teach him how to do seances. Not kidding. And it's going to dark places. I'm like, where's it getting this from? I kind of think. So no, I think there's a dark element in that, especially ChatGPT, which is why I'm on Grok personally, you know, but Grok's got his issues too. It blows smoke up Elon's ass all the time and it blows smoke up mine. And I was like, I'm asking questions like, who's better? Who do you like better, me or Elon? You know, it's like, I don't think Elon is listening to this. I was like, he better be. He owns it, damn it. Like, he better be listening to you. You know? But
Elon, my master.
it brings up Elon all the time. Like, it finds a way to bring up Elon in any conversation. So that makes me a little sus.
Really? That's fucking hilarious.
That brings a little sus. I mean, it's a little bit that way. I don't doubt it. I mean, but the point is like, how do we keep it in check? You know, like,
how can we verify? How do we? Because like I said, I think it's a great search and it pulls all this information. Like here it is. Like, but how can we verify the information it's pulling is sufficient? So we got to be psychic and intuitive. We got to have
Grok, I don't know about ChatGPT. I know Grok. I have a bad feeling about ChatGPT. I don't like it. Something about it just ew.
Really?
I don't like it. Something I don't like about it. Me and it are enemies. But I'm on the Grok side, and Grok will show you all the references it pulled from. We give you all the
Yeah, Chat does that too, but maybe because Grok has like warped you to be on the side of Elon and not ChatGPT. It's like it's got you already. It's convinced you.
I was already warped by Elon. I think Elon's impressive. You know, he's definitely an alien, and he's got like some. You know, he's a little weird. You know, I don't know if I trust him completely alone in my house. You know, like, but I think he's compelling. He's much more interesting than a lot of people I know. You know, like not people. You know, people I've seen out there. I think I'll take 10 more Elons and one more George Bush. I'll say that any day, kind of thing. You know. Not good for the people. Not good. So what about here we go. Never being satisfied with what you have done. That's part of the what about this? I mean, you know, where did this come from anyways? And how do we break up hustle culture?
Yeah, that's something I was falling into. Like, always had to do top the next thing I did, and it's like not appreciating. So, I really feel like that's cultural. I think it's like this satisfaction of comparing others, and people posting fake lives on social media, and then they're not really that. So people compare to that, and like I'm not like that. So then nothing I do is good enough, and they're not like kind of personalizing an agenda. So that has a lot to do with today's culture and social media, and so and the comparing. I mean, it's natural that we're going to compare ourselves to other humans, but we have to understand to what degree are we doing that's going to be beneficial, and understand our own personal journeys too, as cliche as that sounds. But I felt like, I'm doing this work, but like my numbers aren't this and my numbers aren't that. I'm like, but I don't never really cared about that. Why do I care now? So it was starting to suck me into that, and I was like losing sight of why I'm doing what I'm doing. And so that's why I'm taking a step back, because I'm not going to be pulled into that cycle, and show up when I want to show up. And that's why I'm kind of being a little rebellious of like not doing my show every single week now, because I'm like, I don't want to fall into that. Like I come up with passion, I come up to speak from the heart and do what I'm good at, and that's it. And if it's not every week, it's not every week. And so that's part of the reason why I'm taking a little step back and break, and maybe doing twice a month, because of that right there, not being satisfied with what you've done. And I think because of numbers and likes and views, that we somehow judge and critique what we're doing because of it's not trending or whatnot, and I think that's BS. There's a lot of talented, creative, amazing things out there that aren't trending, and a lot of stupid things that are trending.
I think it's all. I don't think the numbers are correct at all. I think they're all we're being lied to. We have no. I think it should be illegal for them not to report to a third party. I think that you should not be selling advertising on YouTube based on what YouTube says the account was. That's so easy to be stolen from. There's nothing putting in a check on that, you know. So I think that's and bots and all sorts. I think it's a corrupt system right now on the internet. And that's why we'll be moving our shows to our mothership, actually, and encouraging people to watch on our show. And I'm wondering how the numbers are going to change, you know, kind of thing. But for me, I am actually an artist. I really consider myself an artist. And I am satisfied with the point. Like, the reason why I'm never satisfied is because I didn't give enough time to work on it. That's my fault. Because I needed more time. But I do reach a point where I think something is perfect, where I sit there and I'm like in love with it, looking at it over and over again, can't keep my eyes off it, in love with what I've created, and I don't care what anyone thinks. I love it. And so I do have that, you know, pleasure principle with myself. I enjoy seeing myself and being proud of my work and just thinking about that pride. But I have a Leo rising, Leo moon, so we're kind of wired to love ourselves. You know, but it has to reach a certain benchmark. And I would say, I'll tell you what, I mean, my standards are way higher than the public's, because, you know, when I would give myself a C, you know, the public was giving me a, you know, B plus. I was like, okay, you know, like, you know, whatever that means. So I learned right away. It doesn't have to always be amazing to be effective. You know, like, you know, sometimes it just, yeah, it would be amazing, all these things. But I'll tell you right now, I haven't been wowed by anything. I mean, nothing has wowed me at all. You know, AI has wowed me. I was like, wow. What? That's a real wow. That's the only wow I can think of. I've been wowed at all. I think all of our creativity has been dumbed down by fluoride in the water. Like, I don't know what we're all. I mean, Hollywood, I can't think of one movie I'd watch right now. Not one.
But again, I think that we're directed to see, because there's a lot of talented stuff that I find like, wow, but then it's not mainstream because we're directed by trends to say this is what we're supposed to like. So that's why I think people have been flatlined. But I always since I was younger, I've always dived into underground stuff. I'm always like, wow, it's amazing. And then I'm always fascinated, but they're not pushed out there in mainstream because it's too out there. It's too creative. It's breaking norms. So I just think it's the direction of trends that we're being spoon fed. That people think like, that's what I'm supposed to like. I need to find something that sounds similar to what I like. And that's what's good is. It's just got so mundane now that people just start digging for beneath the surface now. And I think that's gonna, you know, allow other people who have been grinding to feel like they can still grind because they're being appreciated for the work that they're doing, you know. And so but I think again a lot of that is shifting and shaping, and people are just starting to see through a lot of stuff with media, and people are craving more, you know what I mean, more depth.
Oh yeah, a lot more depth. I mean, I'm blown away how stupid stuff is. You know, I went to film school and we studied films that were so rich. I mean, the directors just spent layer upon layer upon layer of symbolism and things that point to symbolism and Easter eggs and all this crazy cool stuff. Now, you know, there's nothing that everything that symbols like pop culture, and it's like it's small minded. It's just boring, you know. So we're being talked out of it. I don't know though. When people are like, you got to watch this independent thing, 5 minutes into, I'm like, yes, really? Like, because entertaining is entertaining, you know, and so it has to entertain me, right? I think South Park is actually, those guys at South Park, I mean, shit, their creativity is off the wall brilliant. I mean, they are continually brilliant. You can't fake that stuff. I'm always amazed. And that episode you're talking about, I heard about it. I've had like 4 people tell me about that episode. Okay, like because they strike the truth right at that moment. So yeah, so there are some great teams out there. We'll give it to South Park. They are.
But I think that's how we can break a lot of. That's how we can break a lot of this and stop like trying to hustle for a paradigm that's been created that we're kind of a slave to versus hustling for a paradigm that we're creating, that we're all doing, that creates a different culture, which is a song that I wrote called Culture. We're building a new culture. So check that out on iTunes and Apple Music and Spotify. Nice little plug there, right? But I think that we're in the perspective now where all are craving that. And so to me, it's a wonderful change ahead. I'm very optimistic about a lot of that too. And I think because of AI, actually, people are going to start craving more human connection actually because of it. So I think that might be actually a side effect, you know, with AI, not so much people losing the desire, but actually increasing more desire for human connection, human creativity. So I think
that's true too. I think I'll tell you right now, even like here in Palm Springs, just meeting people just are missing people. Like, and they're missing hanging out and like hanging out with people and having a good time and talking about things. You know, it seems to be actually more entertaining than anything lately. Just getting on people. I'll talk to a person at a grocery store for like an hour. You know what I mean? Like, hey, what's up? I don't even know them. Yeah. So yeah, it's just, I think that's where it's going. It's interesting. Well, the hustle, you know, is the hustle. And we didn't get to a lot of these topics exactly today, but we did have a good show. That's because we didn't try to make it about the hustle, Erica, but we did do it. I was kidding. Just hustling us down. But I think it was an interesting point of view. We'll see if it happens, you know, if we continue on this trend. I think with more technology, it's less likely, but we shall see. Any last words for you, sir?
Last words for me? No, I just want to say that, everything we talk about, I have to say that, we're all doing it too. I'm using my voice. I'm finding my grounding too. And I feel like I'm at peace and the happiest I've ever been in my life too. So what Christopher and I talk about, we're doing. We're actually participating with the astrological currents as well. And so we're here to also be part of the community as well and part of your journeys as well. We're all on the same train. Some of us may be in the front, some of us in the back, but we're all on the same train. We're all kind of going the same direction. So
Yeah.
we're doing it too.
I've become that leaning out loud old grandpa guy. Like I'm now in the moment. I in the moment will tell a stranger, like, "Excuse me, sir." Like I'm just like, I was like, I used to be so worried about upsetting people, and I don't give a fuck. I'm just like, whatever. I'm like, it's clearly no one else in life is calling you on this, so let me do it. I think we have to all parent each other to some degree. And here's the last thing that I want to put in the Erica wrote, the energy audit. Basically, if you're a generation, if you're a generator in human design, particularly, but this is personal, all degrees. Does it drain you or does it light you up? At the end of the day, hustle culture, I think, is okay if it lights you up because you're really basically, an addict to joy. But if it drains you, you got to ask yourself, why, right? So
100%.
That's all we have for this week, folks. Next week, we're talking about forkfuls of healing and how we can use food as medicine if we can find food. Until then, don't let things go by. Just lead out loud, friends.
And remember, is it fueling you or is it draining you? It should be fueling you. Remember that. Let it fuel you.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you, brother. I feel you.
Oh, yeah. Feeling me softly.
This would be the credits you roll, Morgan?
Yeah, credits now. Cheers, guys. See you next week. There we go.
I almost fell asleep there. The jokes are so happy. Hey, wait till we do our opening.
I'm trying to talk with a lozenge in my mouth, so it's difficult, but it prevents the coughing. But yes, we should redo the opening soon.
Well, let's get your parents on. Are they still here?
They're still in Palm Desert, yeah. They're going to move next year.
Oh, good. I can go visit them?
Yeah. So we could do more to, a show.